Cred has this mysterious aura sort of around it, right? Which is about how cracking a role seems to be super tough, but also somehow it seems to attract the best innovators, and not just attract the best innovators, also seems to manufacture and produce some of people who then go on to do some extremely good things and become really innovative as well. So,
Yeah.
from what you've seen so far, what is it about the culture? And firstly, what is the culture like? And also,
Mhm.
what is it specifically? What is it about the culture that attracts innovators, people such as
Mhm.
yourself? I think when you mentioned that you wanted to learn about these things and then crack a role and understand these concepts, I'm sure there was something that led you to Cred, right? And something that you saw.
Yeah.
So, what is that factor that attracts innovators such as yourself? And second thing is, once you are inside, how does the culture manifest more innovations? And how do
Got it.
people keep experimenting and keep innovating, for a lack of a better term? So let's start with the attracting innovators part of it.
Got it. Got it. So, the thing about attracting innovators, right? Like, why do you get attracted? Like, there are two ways of getting attracted. Like, one, you just get attracted to the fancy of it. Like, oh, Cred is doing something fancy and stuff like that. I just want to be associated with that. So I'll go interview for them. There are a lot of people who come like that, but they don't make it through because uh, your end goal might not be something that syncs with the company,
Mm,
right? You just don't like, you can't be someone who'll go along the waves, just, is just going to sail along with the flock kind of thing. No, we want someone who is going to come here with something specific, right? Like, why do you want to come to Cred? That's something. Why do you want to come here? Like, what is something that's interesting? Like, a lot of people ask this question in the interview saying, why this company? Why are you here? Right? That's a very important answer that you need to give, because that's where you tell what is your intention here. You can't just be like, the Cred, everything looks so fancy. You guys are really smart and everything. I want to be here. No, right? So there's this part where people who are smart realize that there are a lot of more people who are smarter than them in a particular place,
mm,
and there's a lot for you to gain also, and there's a lot for you that you can give the company also.
mm,
So that's when you're being smart about it in the interview, saying it's a barter. There's XYZ amount that I can gain from here, there's XYZ amount that I can give you guys here based
mm,
on what I know, what my pool of knowledge is. Then it kind of fits. Like, people are like, okay, yeah, this is something. And for Cred specifically, I would say it's more about the persona and trying to understand what Cred does and what, like, it's easy to see what Cred is doing right now because it's very, very evident.
mm,
But what can Cred do, and what can that particular company go ahead, and why does it have so much money, is something that like, I mean, I can't tell you guys though. So, but yeah,
correct.
but that's something that if you dig in, it's pretty, like, easy to find.
Mm,
um like, but it's available around. So it's that's kind of, gives you an understanding. Okay, this is why I want to be in this space. Like, there's XYZ kind of things that I can learn. There's a particular persona that matches of mine and the company and how you work around things, and that's how I would execute things. Like, when my thought process is going to be there, like, you can't be a sales thought process and go into a marketing perspective,
mm,
right? Like how I mentioned, you can't be an edtech person and go into fintech and say, I'll do it the sales way.
mm,
That is not going to work out. So then you're going to be like, no, that was a different persona. Yeah. Now there's a different persona that synergizes with you guys. And that is something that is how I'm going to think and execute when I come to this particular company. And that is what is going to take you guys from point A to point B, and that's the journey ahead. So when that's how these innovators kind of get attracted towards that place, which already is doing so much innovation and things like that. And when you get into that place, you're filled with smart people around you, right? Like, then what happens is, the whole thing is, everyone is pushing their limits to figure out what can be done in a very different way. Then you are forced to push yourself,
mm,
and that's when you unlock your unknown extremities also,
mm,
and you tend to become like an innovative bunch of people altogether.
mm,
And one thing I've observed at Cred, a lot of them are artists.
mm,
They do some kind of thing along with being a person here. So that's something that I also kind of like resonated very well. I'm an artist, been
Mm.
doing art for a really long time, and kind of like if you listen to some of Kunal's talks, also he talks about that specifically, right? You can watch one of the Cred Curious sessions with the founder of Nothing, and he talks about it. He tells about people with art, and like you guys should listen to him only. Like
Mhm.
I'll not reiterate it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's something that's there. And yeah, that I would say that's the whole thing about manifestation inside, where everyone is really smart and pushing and creative, then you also tend to get to that place, and you start pushing yourself and you get better at it, and you always have other people to learn from and other things to learn from. So
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah, that's beautiful. I think it's just a great ecosystem to hear about, especially from like an
Yeah.
external point of view as well, and for especially for people who use the product and can sort of see what is coming output of it, and the new innovations that keep happening as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a the nice answer to sort of hear.